Welcome back to the CSGO Pro League. Hopefully you guys didn't miss us too much. T-Squared and Bears kicking it at the Xfinity desk. We want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Mountain Dew, for making this season happen. As always, be like Blue and do the do. But also I want to mention that the Intel Extreme Masters returns to the Bay Area for the 3rd season in a row. Join us at the Oracle Arena in Oakland, California, November 19th through the 20th for some stadium-level competition in CSGO and League of Legends. For more information on that, go to intelextrememasters.com. But we're talking Selfless, we're talking CLG, and this is not a must-win for these guys, but it's a must-win in order of getting that momentum.
Yes.
The so-key momentum to go up into these standings.
They do need these wins. They're both kind of towards the bottom, and it's a good confidence to start winning matches instead of losing it. And I believe that, I feel like it's going to be good games regardless of them being at the bottom of the scoreboard.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at Selfless's roster now. You know, no surprise to these guys. We've seen them 6 games so far. That's Caboose, the newcomer, 16-year-old, holding it down for the Young Guns. The Young Guns.
The Young Gun.
Nifty, Mitch, No One, and Breezy. Their competition's going to be CLG, so let's take a look at their lineup. Counter Logic Gaming. Now, the thing is about CLG is they're 0-4. They're looking for their first win. And if they would just put all of their names backwards, like Cutler, then they would be it'd be so much tougher to kill because you'd just be like, one shot.
Red look, like I can't even say his name right now. I've known it for years. It's like it's hard to call it out, but you know, that's a pretty good point.
Now, Hayes, Kusta, Nate, and Sub Rosa are going to round up the lineup. Now, I was talking to Ryu before we started everything, and he said that they really want to punish Sub Rosa and Ethan for the mistakes they make. What do you have to say about that?
I think that's smart. I feel like, though, that they should be able to hopefully pick up their game because you saw a lot of mistakes the last time we watched them, and Ryu also saw that too, so I think he will definitely try to exploit that. Hopefully CLG's watched over their play and make sure that they don't make those same mistakes in this match.
Now, these guys have had some common, I guess you can say, enemies in the past. CLG lost to Winter Fox 2-0, and then Selfless actually split games with Winter Fox. So based on that, I would have to, give the advantage over to Selfless. Maybe I would go and say a 2-0 in this series.
I mean, it can be, but they do have Dust 2 on the second map, and I feel like CLG has a lot better chance on Dust 2. It's a puggier style map, so teams with a lot of teamwork, or teams that are like CLG, who has 2 new roster additions, it won't be as hard as other maps like Cbble.
Right, and then they have another common opponent in Immortals that they faced. Now, Selfless looked really good in the weekend tournament going up against Immortals. It was 2-1, but they actually kind of got stomped. Both of these teams got stomped by Immortals. But to me, when they go and take a map like that, shows a little bit of progress. So really looking forward to that match. I know you guys are too, so let's throw it on over to the casters. That's going to be Lex and Blue. Take it away, fellas.
Thank you very much, Tom. And indeed, we are getting ready to jump into the first match of the day here. Once again, it is going to be CLG taking on Team Selfless. Lex, what are your thoughts as we get ready to head into this first match?
Well, kind of as DeBear stated, I think there's a lot of, I wouldn't call them necessarily rookie mistakes, because even though these guys are new additions and they don't have a whole lot of experience, speaking specifically of the Selfless side, and then bringing it on over CLG, it's kind of like the exact same situation, right?
Yeah.
Bringing in new players, they don't have any kind of new team smell. There's no real chance for a honeymoon phase because, well, they haven't really done anything yet, haven't been able to prove themselves, and definitely have had some disappointing results leading up to this moment right here. But both these teams have an opportunity to build some confidence, maybe clean up their record a little bit. I think, when we move into a match like this, going into the pistol round, it can all start here. The whole momentum of both maps can start with just one round, and this would be it right here.
Well, we are getting into the first round now, and Selfless is going to be the team that starts us off on the terrorist side with Counter Logic Gaming jumping onto the defense. They've gone for a pretty heavy stack here towards the B bomb site too, which obviously could prove problematic for Selfless if they follow through with this hit. Only leaving Kusta here towards the A site, and he's been pretty aggressive too. He's already pushed up. I believe he's spotted through the mid doors that there's no one here, and also investigating long. So, I mean, they're going to be absolutely vilified and hanging out here in the B bomb site, and there'll be no reason to rotate anytime soon. It doesn't really look like Selfless is falling back to try and throw it the other way, so they're just going to drop down, start the execute. Hayes trying to hang out here. He does grab 1 kill. It'll be traded, but there's Ethan once again jumping up from the window here too, grabbing 1 pickup. Cutler trying to hold with him, and Ethan finds out frag, and not only that, but a second one. So Broza falls up with a third. It'll very quickly fall down to just no one. However, he is in a 1v2. Knows where at least one of the final players is hanging out at. As he creeps up to the chicken coop right now. They're going to try to move in for that frag. He spotted the shadow, as you can see, so easy headshot. And now only one more to go.
Looking at Kusta now, he's creeping up towards this sidewalk area, back towards connector doors, and he spots no one is able to take him down. That's the bomb right there. Falling from no one's hands. The pistol round will go the way of CLG, and unfortunately that's kind of what happens when you opt for kind of like a late drop split. You give Kusta a chance to clear out A, you know, make sure that the stack they're playing over towards B remains stacked. And Hayes was only able to get one at that window position in that connector, but as soon as you give the opportunity for the bomb to be dropped in that connector area, it's very difficult to recover if you don't gain ground very quickly. And unfortunately, Selfless was stalled there, and CLG was just able to clean up very quickly. Nice hold from all the players over there on that B site, and Selfless now forced onto a pistol armor eco and taking a lot of damage from one grenade drop. Kusa's going to clean up with the Bazan. That's an interesting weapon of choice for an eco round, but he works out for him there, picks up 3. No one finally trades that out. Now it's a 2v4 situation. So Rosa now creeping up towards this pizza spot, towards that E-box. And that MP9 is about to do some deadly work if he gets the opportunity to do it. And he messes up his pop flash, actually. Might cost him.
Trying to fall back around the corner. Ethan does pick up that first kill there. First of last 2 anyway, and there we go. They're just going to dispatch of it. So they only lose Kusta in the process of things, and beyond that, it is a pretty quick cleanup for CLG. So again, Selfless at the moment, obviously 2 rounds gone, but trying to run head first into the same strat. Again, they execute on the pistol round, and it just is not going to play out at all. CLG is very much ready for it, and you can see here too, it was Kusta cleaning things up. He just finally, of course, get overwhelmed because there's just a huge waterfall play from Selfless, but right after that, obviously the rest of the members of Selfless are pretty easy to shut down.
Right, and that's kind of where I think the newer roster and just the inexperience of the players kind of shines through, is they're trying to focus on drop for the first 2 rounds, and neither time it really looked like, and especially not right there, an effective pop flash wasn't used. Hazed actually might get caught out, unfortunately. Not quite able to get it as Caboose, as he had Hazed off guard for just a moment. Hazed able to drop that smoke grenade and effectively choke off the entire terrorist team. They're going to go through the smoke grenade, and Hayes is going to have a field day with his Nova. That's 3, make it 4. And the ace might be incoming, but Ethan's going to steal that from young James Hayes Cobb. Beautiful man with a ponytail sometimes.
I'm actually impressed he got all 4 of those. That gun can be very hit or miss.
Dude, you know what? When I use the Nova, I will never hit a bullet with it, period. But for some reason,
he just hits 4 in a row perfectly.
I'm convinced it has something to do with Steam IDs. Just Valve awards some people the ability to use weapons
cases.
that I can't.
It's often
Maybe
like
I'm
the Deagle
just not
too.
good with them. I don't know.
Don't you know the Deagle Blaze skin adds
it adds
accuracy.
Flames. Yeah, the bullets get increased.
They just become head-seeking bullets when you have that skin.
Death machine.
The conspiracy continues. So for the rest of Selfless now, they get on to their first gun round, and they'll actually just play it out to a default for the most part here. Nothing really special happening early on in the round here. They do some early damage though to Ethan, who tries to push his way up towards Broken, and is going to be punished pretty handily from there. So punished for the early aggression. No reason for CLG to stop doing it though, since at the moment you really need to. I mean, if you want to be a successful CT on this map, you really need to try and play at least a little bit aggressive, so you can try and scout out that intel early in the round and really figure out where the hit's going to be coming from.
Yeah, finally we're seeing Caboose creep out towards this platform. And Selfless in the past has never really demonstrated to be a really strong Cobble team, and this is with various rosters. I mean, it used to be their veto back in the days of Enemy, and these days I don't really see them necessarily being the strongest on it, but hopefully they've improved. The thing that I'm looking at now is the inability to take map control early on. They're going to go through this smoke, and Hayes is just going to chop up Nifty. Come through that mid double doors. Not even a pop flash coming out from Nifty, but finally Breezy snaxes himself through that smoke and takes out Hayes. And now it's a 4v4 situation. The rotate is on from CLG, but the play is going back towards the B-bomb site. Caboose knows there are no CLG members. He's creeped out all the way on that platform. Kusta may have just heard, and the probably alarm to his teammates, like, guys, we don't have anybody at B. I need to rotate back, and Kusta finally moving over towards drop. Subros is the only one out of the B-bomb side. He's gonna catch the planner out on a no one. That can't happen, boys. But Caboose and Mitch trade him right back, and now it's a 2v2 situation. Seeing Mitch hold this rock position, young Dwayne Johnson player. Cutler over there at the connector doors of this AWP, gonna run into a hairy situation with Mitch close on the doors. He's going to fall, not able to land the no-scope, and now Mitch an opportunity to hold Ethan in his drop area as long as he needs. Caboose doesn't need a peek because Mitch has his back, and that's the first round for Selfless. Nice play, nice rotation back to the B bomb site. CLG just over-rotating beyond belief, and I think that's part of what we're going to see throughout the entire day is botched rotations, the inability and inexperience of site anchors to really kind of lock down these bomb sites.
Selfless, however, do get to just walk right in there. A bit of a scrap to close out, but they do manage to find it. Now the full buy comes in for them. We still have the next rebuy, of course, from CLG. Cutler, the only one having to downgrade himself away from a rifle, but Selfless proceeding a lot faster towards the platform area. And look at Caboose, wasting no time at all getting himself out onto the platform itself to deny steps pressure if the CTs tried to push for it. None will be here, though, early in the round. The rest are grouping up, though, to push out.
Can we look at Nifty for a moment with this AWP? I know Caboose is out on that platform, but this man is full camping T-spawn. That said, Caboose catching a pop flash, and the gunfight's coming out from Subrosa at a closed broken wall. They know he's there. There's two players actually grouped up, both Color and Caboose, about to run into each other. Actually, Subrosa's going to catch the first bullet. Breezy picks up the second, and now it's a 5-on-3. The B's bomb site is wide open. Only one player taking some pot shots over there from the connector. Kusta actually lands a nice shot on a Caboose. Kusta on a Caboose. Alliteration on alliteration. Breezy drops Kusta, now to 4-on-2. This round is all but lost for CLG. Might have to just save these weapons. Unfortunately, scoreline looks like it might just be 3-2. Selfless picking up another.
And that meltdown for CLG basically starts with that very aggressive push out onto the platform. You can see that comes in from Caboose, I believe. Or apologies, it comes in from Breezy along with Caboose, who make that more aggressive push. And then when the CTs do try to push their way back up from the steps area there, that little cubby allows him to move out and punish that a lot easier, since they already get that positioning. And overall, CLG just try to poke in for that info way too late in the round. They're already lined up. They're already basically in the site, essentially. And finding those kills just speeds up the process. CLG have to fall back. They really don't have a choice, as losing those two players to that big stack. Here we go. It's Caboose is actually inside. And like you saw, they're definitely not expecting him to be this close up here. Peeks right out, grabs that first one, and his teammate finishes off the second.
Yeah, that's Breezy, actually. That's excellent teamwork from two young players, relatively inexperienced players. Breezy able to back him up there. Caboose not over-peaking. Knows that, saw Cutler basically jump at that broken wall, and I believe it was Subrosa was spamming, and knew that there was two players, basically called for help. No one was flashed. No issues with taking out those kills, so nice play from the terrorists thus far, working that B bomb site. Now we have Mitch all alone, kind of throwing his utility over towards B, just trying to keep the rotations and any sort of an eco stack over at that B bomb site. Hayes all alone with this M4 at A. He's going to run into effectively 4 members from Selfless in any moment now.
This is the first time as well that Selfless are really going to commit themselves to the B bomb site. Up to this point, all they've really done is tried to poke it a bit. They haven't really tried to go for full pressure, and for the most part, there hasn't even really been all that much aggression in terms of trying to throw the fake out. They've maybe had 1 or 2 players positioned outside, but that's it. So this is the first time we see them actually fully going into the site. CLG up to now have been justified in going for the 4 stack, but when they push into this site, they're going to move in fully. And Hayes is also going to wait a very long time to strike, but it pays off. He picks up 2 big kills. Nifty peeking out, though, does catch the trade. No one finding an additional. However, there's going to be Ethan finding 1 more before going down. Just 1 more left alive for CLG after Mitch rolls inside the room leading up to the balcony there. And they've already spotted Subrosa, so his little corner that he's trying to hide away in will not last very long. Eventually has to try and get out of there, and that's where Nifty's going to strike. And then the round for Selfless.
Yep, valiant effort from Hayes. I mean, the fact that he's able to ninja up there for as long as he did is kind of impressive. Can't be expected all the time to nail all your clears as a terrorist when you're entering a bomb site, but it almost cost Selfless there well more than 2 kills. I mean, had he had an A4, maybe 10 more bullets, could have done some more damage. Despite that, 3-3 is the scoreline, all tied up now. Counter Logic side with money enough to buy, so here's another gun round coming out then with a fast play from Breezy. Jumping over that broken wall, taking out Subrosa. It's a nice way to entry and start this round. Cutler answers back. Kusta follows up with another. Cutler with a second nice long-range A4 spray. And Nifty finally getting into the fray now with that AWP. Haven't seen it too much yet. That said, retake must come quickly as only 1 kid on Hazed. Kusta already towards this statue position with his teammate. And no one actually picking up 2. It's a 1v1. He's only got 5 HP versus Ethan. At any moment now, he's going to come around that corner and Ethan's just going to get a free kill. And nice try from no one. Picked up 2 of the 3, and CLG is actually going to take the lead back 4-3 now.
Very close battle near the end of it once more. Talking about this in the pregame, really just how close this was going to be because of how new the rosters are. This is not the CLG of old anymore. A very important point that I'm not really sure if people are understanding yet, that this team is going to be all sorts of different now because basically the entire formula has changed. Even when they brought Kust on, you remember, this was very recently before we saw the entire roster break apart. They only bring him on maybe like 1 or 2 weeks before Cologne starts, so this is all still very new stuff that we're seeing form on this team, and it's going to take time. So Selfless is not going to have any trouble whatsoever trying to compete with these guys at this kind of a level. Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, kind of the strength that for so long kept CLG at the top of the competitive scene in North America is honestly just their experience playing together. I mean, the season that you have kind of just goes to show when you can mesh with someone for that long. If you get along well, like, magic can happen, and they did it at well, 2 majors ago. And then after the whole roster shakedown, this is like I don't know if it's a breath of fresh air, but definitely a fresh start. And they have a lot of work to do to bring things back, but they're not looking too bad now. Already 4 rounds on the counter-terror side of Cbble. Nice way to start out the half on round 8. Nifty and Caboose already worked out towards this B platform. Mitch sitting above drop, and no one's actually going to find one at A halls, and that's all it's going to take to draw a rotator over from that B bomb site back towards A. And at any point now, Selfless can move into this B bomb site, but it's already been blown away as Caboose entries onto Sabrosa, and Ethan and Kusta are the lone defenders of this B bomb site. Kusta hanging around that drop area. Ethan towards Rock in that connector door. And he's going to back off a little bit. He gets smoked off at connector. Breezy's lurking up towards A. He's going to be able to find a gunfight at Cutler any moment now, and Cutler's able to call that, but Breezy in this connector area is just going to do the dance, try and hold Cutler here as long as possible. His teammates put that bomb down at B, and he is able to find the kill onto Ethan, and he knows Cutler's still over there at A, so now it's a 5-on-2. All they got to do is wait this out and try and hunt this gun down. Kusta, though, is coming up behind Breezy, and Breezy's desperately calling for his teammates, and Mitch is able to come to the rescue, and now Cutler, run for your life, my friend. They're all wrapping so quickly, too, to hunt him down. He's here to take the challenge. Breezy, the first one that gets eliminated, swiping onto Mitch, but Caboose puts a quick stop to it. Ends the round. Selfless do pick up a third, responding right back, causing another reset for CLG, and this just happened. Because we may just see them go for the buy anyway, depending on if they want to force up directly. Regardless, the full save seems to be what is coming in for these guys. A couple P250 investments across the table, but that is going to be it. Now we will see if they are able to pierce the veil on the site itself. Moving up once again, Selfless hitting for the most part pretty directly over here towards the B-bomb site. This has been their favorite play. In fact, we've only really seen them up to this point go ahead towards the A-bomb site, I think only 1 time in this half. Look at him, wasting no time. Mitch is leaping right in. He knows that they're weak, and he's going to leap in to try and find as many kills as possible. Sabrosa does sneak his way around the boost rock there to be able to find 1 kill against Mitch. For the rest of the team moving in here, they take Nifty down a bit, so they're just trying to cause chaos on the site. Boost doesn't check that corner, so hold on, all of a sudden, this goes 3-on-2 in the favor of CLG, but that'll change very quickly as Nifty drops another one. Kusta, now with an AK, picks up no one, and very delayed reaction from Nifty, so all of a sudden, Nifty looking to clutch. Selfless may be a bit too straightforward with this, and there you go. Hayes finding the back shot into Nifty, somehow closes that round out for CLG.
That was a very ugly eco round to lose. I mean, Selfless gets basically 2 entries for free, and it's a 5-on-3, just kind of throwing away kills over at that drop area, and then again back towards that statue once they lost a little bit of that map control. I mean, 2 players going down and drop. Kind of, I wouldn't say necessarily unacceptable. People are going to make mistakes, but the trades must come in, especially when you're just against a P250 no armor buy. And 5-4 now, Counter Logic able to hold on to this lead. Round by round, they're grinding this half out, and that's what, honestly, it's going to take to probably knock off a map. I mean, Cbble traditionally a terrorist-sided map. Cutler able to take down Nifty, knows the A push is coming on this eco. And all alone in that side hall is hazed, falling to no one now. 3v4 situation. Selfless can pretty much do anything they want. There's not a flanker coming in from B, but CLG wise this time to keep an anchor on that bomb site. That's exactly what Selfless is going to do. Walk back towards the B bomb site.
Selfless slowly moving over towards it here with Kusta and Sabrosa posting up as the defense force. Kusta going to be the main man up to bat, however, since they're not necessarily heading over here on the platform just yet. That could change in a second, though, and Kusta making actually probably a lot of noise with the jiggle peeking right now. So they will move in to look for him in a moment here. as they do proceed up to the drop room, and there we go. Okay, bit late on the response to actually stop sort of Jiggle peeking, so he gives away damage. They definitely know he's there, and now he goes down because he's not ready for the push window. And not only this, but Caboose just decks Ethan. Cutler, he's the last man alive on this site. Do they expect him in the safe corner? And again, he's got a slow reaction. He still picks up a kill, but he remains out from around that corner. So Breezy's able to take him out with the AK. It's just Cbble all of a sudden.
And that's... I'll talk about that in a minute, because I have a lot of things to say about that. But Cbble now creeping up there towards these A-halls. And Breezy's stuck at Woodwall, and he has no idea what is about to hit him in the back. Cbrosa's not going to find it, actually. Breezy just with a... What does Ryu call it? His sixth sense? Flipping around there, taking down Cbrosa. And that's a round win with almost a full eco from Selfless. I mean, that just can't happen for either team. Back-to-back eco rounds. Money will never be good for you if you can't keep a bank. CLG forced to eco now. Let's see if they can do it again. And I think right there at the end of that round, we saw Kusta jiggle peeking this awkward angle that it's really not an angle, actually, for a rifler to play. And I have a feeling like Cutler in the back of that A bomb site is kind of the same thing, where not only did they change up the roster, but they've changed up the roles completely, right? So Kusta's no longer opping. Cutler is now an opper. I just think both of those situations could have been played much, much safer. Unfortunately, 2 free kills went the way of Selfless. And now Selfless looking to take the lead, slowly, carefully taking this round now, as opposed to the previous time they had Counterlogic Gaming on eco. Now they're taking it very cautious. They're very aware that pistols can be used effectively from CLG.
Taking the normal route, essentially, that we kind of expect on anti-ecos, whereas last time, a bit too much confidence, I guess we would have said, back on round number 9, where they basically just rushed the site, hoping to clean up as quickly as possible. It's a strat that a couple of teams have started to employ, but for the most part, they do it in the first couple of rounds after you win the pistol there. They haven't tried to do it directly here, like while there's still possibility for full guns to be in play. So, fortunately, they ran into a big stack from CLG and didn't set themselves up for trades very well either, which is why we saw that round kind of go down to the dumps. But now they're going to be able to get basically free B control after they found these first 2 kills against Cbrosa and Hazed. Ethan will be watching for any drop pressure that moves in, and also is going to be tested here in a moment. You know, he's sitting down inside. Bit of a battle there towards drop, but he's trying to move out from it, and they'll prevent him from doing so quite nicely. No one also going to move himself into the halls. If he times this right, he can find Kusta for free, but he actually looks away. So Kusta is the one who's going to find it. Nice little one-tap to do some great damage, but also losing Cutler here. It's all coming down to Kusta now, or at least as far as these back B halls are concerned, and won't be able to find anything. Breezy shuts him out. Ethan is going to be your last man standing, but with his position being in drop here, it's going to be the same old story. To just survive with a P250, and all 5 from Selfless will make it out of the round.
Yep, Selfless taking the first lead of the game. 6-5 for the terrorist side now. If they can manage to close this out 10-5, I think, you know, for either side, that's somewhat respectable. The thing is, though, I mean, CLG, 3 of the 5 rounds that they won was the pistol, the following anti-ecos, and then they won an eco round of their own. So they need to win a gun round at some point. A couple bits of armor on CLG, pistols across the board. Selfless again, kind of posting up outside of A. CLG's actually already burned 2 smokes over there at the A bomb site, so making it look like perhaps this is a B stack when it's not. And now Selfless kind of grouping back up towards that B bomb site, but Nifty still posted deep towards that fountain area, back towards terrorist spawn.
The only thing that would throw them off here is going to be if they don't realize that, again, they're on an eco. So just as I say that, though, there is the nice Molotov tossed out there, and also Caboose almost catching Ethan there, too. Thankfully, he's a little bit further back in that position.
So Caboose still holding this B platform, takes out Kusta.
We are going to see now Caboose trying to hold on to his own here. No one dropping Cutler. He's going to try to push his way out here. Drops Ethan. And following that up, Hayes is also going to fall too. So with that, Selfless, we're going to once again press forward here. They'll go 7 against 5. CLG going into another bye on this round. Of course, a full investment as they did go for the full double save. And Cutler now as well, armed with an up.
Apologies, I had a mic issue there, but we're good now. 7-5, Selfless extending their lead to 2. CLG able to pull out a full buy now. Cutler back on that op. And pretty much full utility across the board for the counter-terror side of CLG. This time, though, Selfless moving 3 guys back towards that A bomb site. And I think Hayes is, yeah, he's committed to playing this A hall area. And he does have utility, but he's not using any of it yet. Probably just doesn't want to see his position given away. Try and catch somebody off guard, as previously they just have 1 or 2 members kind of probing this side hall. So I expect he believes with the help of Cutler holding this angle over at A halls, he can get something done here. Now Mitch dumping his inventory at drop, making sure that CLG is always concerned about this B side of the map as Nifty slowly falls back. Not sure if this is kind of like, well, as I say that, they're moving back towards the B bomb site, but Selfless kind of, this default that they're running where they're not really taking any map control is very safe, it's very cautious. I wonder if this is maybe like, with the grace of a new in-game leader, some indecision, right? Because Mainline just recently left the roster, and I'm not even sure who's in-game leading for Selfless now. I don't know if you know this, but...
Well, they were one of the teams that primarily was having like their coach doing a lot of that stuff for them, but now, obviously now they've decided against that, and I'm actually not sure who's taken it over since then. I think that would be a good question to ask Ryu when he gets back, because it seems like it may be just kind of like what Cloud9's doing. They sort of have it in a looser context, but it seems as though Selfless are going to try to make the hit, although it's a bit messy when they initially move in, since CLG spots it due to Cbbe's position. They molly it off, and here comes Cbbe himself there too, finding a first kill. Hayes with a second pickup. He will eventually go down. Cbbe, this is to Nifty, but look how much time is being wasted. 8 seconds left on the clock. No one has no choice but to put this bomb onto the ground. And with this, Kusta is going to move right in there and punish the final 2. A very last-second execute, as it would seem, from the side of Selfless, and Counter Logic Gaming are absolutely ready for it, so they don't really let them get anywhere besides finding that plant.
Yeah, I don't even know if that was an execute. I mean, it was just more like a, hey guys, let's go back B, and we'll explode out at B, you know? Like, just 4 guys walking out of that platform. And essentially it was a firing squad for CLG. I mean, he had 1 kind of smoke over there at the sidewalk area, but that was it. They were able to get onto the bomb site, put the bomb down eventually. There comes a time when, like, you run out of strats and maybe you want to rely on your aim, catch the CTs off guard, but the execution, the actual explosion onto the bomb site was so slow. Actually, boost now at drop from Cutler. See if he can find anything here. And he is going to find Mitch. Nice shot from him. Kusa gets flashed off a drop, and actually Cutler bails him out, and he's able to find one on a caboose. And I am not quite sure what is going on right now, but CLG is just holding that drop area beautifully. An AWP, next gen, boys.
They haven't really been having that extra person sitting inside there for a while, so even if it was just an all-of-a-sudden thing to do that boost and have them there, the second person has helped them out immensely, and now the final 2, they don't really get past Broken Wall. Nifty kind of creeps up to the boosting area a bit there, but beyond that, everybody is stuck either immediately below the drop position, or they just get crushed as they try to push themselves out of, out by Broken.
I've just received word that Nifty is calling now.
I saw that tweet as well.
That answers that. That said, I mean, this what could have been a 10-5 half for Selfless once they made that kind of gamble play towards B is now 7-7, right? They're able to buy out in this last round, full utility, and finally Nifty able to punish some aggression over at the A bomb side. He's posted there every round, and you hope in the back of your mind that, you know, eventually this patience will pay off, and it finally does. 5v4 is so difficult on Cbble. Now, I'd love to see Selfless actually make a play over towards A, make them bring a rotator over Caboose. Taking things into his own hands, however. Dropping Cbbe at that B site. Nifty distracting Ethan over at A, and he might be able to draw a rotator, but just as I say that, they are moving back towards B. And again, no real map control taken. They're not even out on the B platform yet because they just don't want CLG to see anything. They suspect that the Opper might be on plat, and they'd be right. Cutler is there. So some sort of a drop split's probably going to come out here. Mounting up is 3 players from Selfless above drop. Nifty rejoining them. No one actually might be throwing Lurk over at A. Might turn it into an A split, and that's exactly what's going to happen now. Selfless busting into that connector area, all on Kusta to try and make something happen, but he backs off, playing a little passive, and as I say, that Caboose entries on to Ethan over at A. So that bomb site is wide open. Selfless more than likely going to take this round, but they are low HP across the board. All it takes is 1 bullet from Kusta to drop Breezy. As I say that, the retake is on now. Kusta and Cutler in this last round of the half not only have to defuse that bomb, but deal with full utility pretty much still on the Selfless side, Molotoving that heaven area, and just a few grenades to work with the CLG, and they're not only going to use one flash. Nice kill from Kusa. That's the second of the round with 5 HP. He's going to fall to no one. And now Cutler, this AWP, let's see if he can get anything done, but he cannot drop by no one. 8-7 half. You know, decent showing from both sides considering what things could have been for either team.
Overall, a bit of a scrap, though, as we saw those two teams kind of going back and forth between it. So a lot of mistakes, a lot of good stuff at the same time, but we're going to see how it all capitalizes, of course, in the second half, which is coming up in just a few. Stick around right here at the ESL Pro League.
He's going to get the one kill in that bomb coming onto the side. FNX has to stay up. He gets the triple FNX. Oh my god, what a way to win that round. They don't have a smoke, so this over still.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
First map of the day turns out to be, well, to be honest, a bit of a mess. Both those teams kind of scrapping back and forth.
I believe it was Davey yesterday described one particular match as a cluster duck. Whatever that is.
Good PC way to keep it there.
Well, honestly, strictly, not completely a mess, actually. I was going to say strictly a mess, but it's like when you have a newer roster, constantly you're going to be frustrated because whatever you're calling in your head, I guess, as we clarified, Nifty is the new in-game leader for Selfless. Sometimes you're going to be able to call strats, and it's just all going to come to you. You're going to make the right decision at all times. And other times, you're just like, why didn't that work? And unfortunately, like when they go back and review their demos, which, you know, at this stage, 2016, you know, people do their homework. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot to learn on their terrorist side is Selfless. And CLG, I mean, equally made mistakes. Both teams got ecoed several times.
Route 9 was probably like the most critical one, where we saw Selfless kind of just rushing the push on the site there, and unfortunately
5-4, yeah.
They were all spread out too, so there was like no trade positions and whatnot, but there was a couple situations where that happened against CLG too, so.
Absolutely. And I think like when you get caught off guard like that, I mean, it's even more frustrating than just losing a gunfight or something like that, both for the players and the in-game leaders specifically, because I mean, the stress kind of gets to you, and you're just like, oh, man, like, we shouldn't have lost that round. Like, what do I do now? And it throws off your whole game plan. So for a new in-game leader like Nifty and ultimately a new roster like Selfless, it's a testament to their skill to be able to bring that back 8-7, right? I mean, CLG, these guys are no slouches. They have a lot of talent on this roster. Some old faces, some new ones. But regardless, either of these teams might be able to take it away in this half, as we're going to move into this pistol round any moment now, but going to be all right. It's going to be a good match.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a cluster duck, I believe. In technically Davey's words, but your words about 3 minutes ago. I mean, the one thing I'm worried about overall with CLG and now as they jump onto the T side is the fact of just how long it took them to adapt to situations. Like Selfless would be, I'd say, pretty much at the very least 2/3 of the time, but probably a lot more than that. I think they only went A 3 or 4 times at most, unless I missed a couple rounds or just miscounted a bit. But I mean, this time CLG, well, they're not going to be holding back at all. They're going right up to the A bomb site. They don't even notice Breezy is positioned at A long. So with that, that's going to be a big mistake because they leave it open. They don't keep any players to watch that. He's able to push right back in, picks up a free kill. Nifty also finding one, gives them the man advantage. And well, Ethan peeks right into 2 more players from Selfless as Mitch moves his way out. The final 2 are going to try to get aggressive to hunt these kills, but now they've just boxed themselves in at the entrance here on the wrap area. Mitch picking up 1, Kusta trading it out, but now he's alone. Good news is he's got some of them a bit low. Mitch and Nifty are in possible one-tap territory depending on how it goes, but nope, that's not even going to work. Mitch immediately shuts Kusta down, and with that, Selfless are going to be able to keep their lead here in the second half.
And even though he only got 1 kill, Breezy able to take that first kill off of CLG, kind of returning the trade frag after 1 was dropped from Connector. Able to stay alive in that A halls, made basically CLG completely turn around and have to focus on him, even though he's not peeking. Because they know at any moment, like, this guy could pop out and shoot us in the back of the head. So Selfless was able to flank up through mid. I believe it was Mitch got 3 kills that round and ultimately just overwhelmed the bomb site very quickly in the same manner that CLG had just done, just from many different angles. And, you know, 9-7, Selfless able to take the pistol round. And that's huge going into this next round as CLG, man with P250. We've seen them do it before in the last half, but a little bit of a different situation now. They are going completely against 3 SMGs, 2 M4s out of Selfless, and they are now on the terrorist side.
CLG, once again, though, getting ready to just basically go for an all-in play. Same as the pistol round, just with a lot slower pace. It'll be a default push into the B bomb site. However, at the moment, all 5 players are moving in to execute. Unfortunately, with as light of a buy as they have here, it's probably not going to end up going so pretty. Just trying to combine as many players as possible into one area of the map in hopes of overwhelming at least 1 or 2 players from Selfless, and also possibly being able to find a plant at the very least to give them that extra cash when they go for the buy. And here they go. The jump down. Ethan actually grabs a great first shot against no one. Now they're armed with an SMG. It's going to move in over. Nifty's got a great position behind the panels here, trying to peek it out of it and cause some frustration with the pistols as we normally see. That's going to be, I believe, Hayes trying to cross through it, but now Hayes moves himself out into the open where Breezy is waiting, and as Kusta's last man alive, he picks up 1 more kill, but eventually goes down to Mitch. No plant for CLG. They do find 2 kills. However, I think most of the big guns are re-retrieved at the end of the round.
Re-retrieved.
It's probably not a word.
Like the
They're just,
retriever that
they're just retrieved.
wouldn't leave me alone at the airport yesterday. 2 days ago now. Anyway, Selfless Gaming, 10-7. This is the biggest lead they've had this game, and still in a commanding fashion over CLG. They're on the CT side now, a little bit more difficult historically in CSGO. But CLG, that first bomb plant, able to buy up, and plenty of utility on the board. Kusta actually eats a nade over there towards upper B, and now AK's creeping towards A, or Cutler, Hazed, and Sabrosa as Ethan and Kusta hold down the other side of the map. Nifty and Breezy still opting to play this 3-2 setup. And it's a very safe way to play Cbble. Unfortunately, it leaves that B bomb site a little exposed, but CLG being very diligent over that A. And Mitch with a nice spray through the smoke on Kusta. That's gonna, you know, a gift, I guess you could say. Thank you, CS Gods, for putting that man within my crosshairs.
Bit of tilt for Kusta as well, probably.
It's definitely frustrating. I mean, if anybody out there in the audience has ever played Upper B Plat as a terrorist and that's been your job, I feel your pain, Kusta.
Couple of degrees to the tiltometer.
Yeah, especially when your whole team's on the other side of the map and they're just like, Kusta, how'd you die? It's just like, bro, I don't know.
But
I don't know, man.
Hayes is going to start this push over here onto the site now, and Nifty tries to rush out. Doesn't go so well. Breeze is up on the boosted wall, though, and he can catch the trade. Now, however, he needs to fall back into the site as the rest of the team is going to follow through. Calling for the rotations, but it is not a full commitment yet. They haven't seen these other 2 pushing up the ramp side, maybe hearing one of them, but not spotting the bombs. It's kept way in the back, and now no one spots these players pushing out for the APC, but he re-peeks it way too wide. So does Breezy, same mistake. And now with that, CLG will get control of the A site.
Man, the over-peaking, I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of it this game, as we saw Nifty, Breezy, and no one all do just that. Sabrosa, Ethan, and Cutler locked into this B bomb site. We have Sabrosa playing this APC area, and he might be caught off by Kusta if he's not careful. Cutler is just dedicated, staring at this side hall, and he does. Caboose finds him, and now it's just Mitch, Cutler, and Ethan alone in this 1v3. See whether Mitch can creep up towards this B bomb site and find at least Ethan. Trying to spam that wood wall, not going to happen, but he does find one on Ethan and actually does some damage to Cutler, but it's not going to be enough. Even though he has a kit, he's just going to try and stick it here, and Cutler's going to execute him. Give him a nice haircut.
Nice little tap away there to finish things off. So that will be another round found by CLG, and they will start to close the gap, of course, by winning that first gun round. Selfless, though, will not even be left with enough cash to try and go for a full reinvestment. It's just going to be the upgraded pistols across the team, and most of them being donated, I believe, by Caboose. Nifty, I think, dropping one in there as well to help out with the strain a bit, but again, not really expecting all that much from Selfless unless CLG makes those same fairly aggressive mistakes that Selfless made back on like round number 9 of the first half.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, that previous round, I kind of almost went on a rant about it, but Selfless had it set up perfectly, had 3 players towards that A bomb site. And this is going to be a firing squad. Actually, no one with a running 5-7 onto Ethan. CSGO. Booster returns on a nifty, though, 4v3 situation. CLG just prodding the B bomb site, not quite committing it to anything yet. Kusta does need to be careful. He is low on HP and stuck towards this corner at B platform. He's going to smoke himself off, I imagine, and try and get out of here, which he will do just that. Cbble already down drop, though. He's going to be able to lock down this B bomb site and any rotators. Might as well just leave Kusta here to Vac. Threw no one on the smoke. Nice shot. Excellent spray. Breezy and Mitch trying to do a little bit more damage towards CLG. I know they had quite a few kills in the previous round. Might be able to force CLG on low money into the next gun round if they get a few down here, but Breezy's not going to be able to find one. Mitch will fall. 10-9 is now the scoreline. Selfless clinging to a lead desperately. They're going to go into a gun round this next round, and CLG again, we're going to keep at least a UMP, and the rest of them are going to be able to buy up pretty much, have full utility. Not too bad of a buy coming out from them. Actually, no, pistol armor coming out from Selfless, opting to play this conservatively. Actually, that's actually a good call because Cbble in general, because it's more of a T-sided map, and you know CLG's low on money anyway. If you can get enough kills here and keep their bank low and then go into a full buy round, you'll have 2 gun rounds following this. Just double save after getting reset. Not a terrible decision. And Cutler seems to be lining up a smoke, so I imagine this is going to be some sort of a B execute as there are 5 members of CLG towards this B platform, and Caboose is going to get run into by several players here as there is just a holding mouse 1 party at upper B with that bump through that smoke. No one actually finds one on Ethan. Now it's a 2-on-2. Cutler and Hazed basically not really even sure whether or not there's anybody left in this B bomb site, which there is not. It's just a double flank coming out from Selfless.
Hazed hasn't watched, though. He's going to spot these players moving in. Hasn't seen them yet, but he's watching for it, and there you go. There's the peak. That's what he wanted to see. Flashbang rolls out to it. Nifty tries to capitalize. Unfortunately for him, Hazed will be safely just kind of tucked away behind the box position, and Nifty not even really wanting to poke out against it now since they know that the pressure's here. Hazed also on the cusp of an ace, too, after the crazy bit of a chaos that we did have back over here on the drop area. But Cutler, rude as he is going to jump up on Broken Wall and steal the ace. What a jerk.
Yeah, well, classic just teammate things, you know? I believe they live together, so they'll probably...
they've been together for a while, though.
Yeah.
Their relationship can survive that.
I'm sure it's abusive.
If that was Kusta that stole it, it'd be a whole other
Cutler
story.
picks on Hazed. I don't know. Maybe not. He doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. He's so quiet, but you never know.
It's very mellow from the conversations I've had with him.
Yeah, and back into this round, I mean, it's 10-10. It's been tied up by CLG, and they have shown no signs of stopping. Unfortunately, this is the first test they're going to have really of this half, is they're going to have a full buy from Selfless. 5 rifles on the board now. And another B execute smokes coming out, but nothing committed quite yet. And I think the idea is going to bait out the utility of Selfless. No one holding this drop with a beautiful spray as Ethan and Cbble just kind of walked into those bullets. Nifty over at that coup position, throwing shades of Cold Zera onto Kusta.
And for Cutler now.
Yeah, Cutler.
Big clutch ahead of him. The Molotov being denied. I think Nifty's going to peek it anyway, though, but it doesn't matter. Is Cutler just going to push from Broken? Spots the butt of Breezy. Finds that kill and almost brings down Nifty through the chicken coop. But thankfully, no one is going to surprise and finish him off before he takes a second crack at it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like Cutler was sitting on that platform staring at Nifty just dancing around in that coop, but just couldn't get a shot. Unfortunate angles from that B platform. Sometimes you just get the advantageous position from seemingly a dead end from coop. You got to molly that out, smoke it out, do something when you know an Opera has a propensity to play there. That said, Selfless answering back finally in this half and reclaiming their lead, and this is going to be a grind. I mean, we mentioned it at the break. Been a brawl, been a bit of a mess, I guess you could say, back and forth throughout the entire game. And Selfless actually losing a couple of guns there, just has a FAMAS on Breezy, and just in the same fashion over on the CLG side, a Tech 9 and a P250. Just like to see what, it's a huge nade doing over 100 damage to the CLG squad. Nice nade from drop. Over at that drop position, one of the effective techniques to kind of utilize your utility the best is just to change up your progression of nades. Sometimes you molly first, nade quickly. Sometimes you smoke first, nade late, and it just draws the terrorist side up into that drop area, thinking that, you know, there's no molly. He's not peeking it. They're playing passive. They're not playing in drop, and then you just hit him in the face with the nade. It looks like exactly what happened there from CLG. They thought it was clear, and it was not. And Caboose is playing this plat position, and Kusta is actually going to run into a gunfight with him any second now, but continuously flashes Caboose, and a nice shot on a Mitch from Kusta. And Caboose finally answering, picks up 2 of his own, but it's 3v3 now as Cutler trades. And now no one from that rock position doing heavy damage towards this CLG side round after round. This drop player knows what he's doing as he's pushing out with his teammates, waits to go in, but overpeaks just a little bit, and Ethan capitalizes, and now it's a 2-on-2. A gritty round coming out here from Selfless as they are not giving up this bomb site just quite yet. And Ethan clinging to any sort of map control, and Hayes actually bails him out from a sneaking Breezy. And Ethan finds one on a Nifty, and that's a nice round coming out from CLG. Able to get the trades effectively throughout.
A nice little cleanup from them once again. And as we predicted, this game going right into another tied scoreline here. Selfless also going to be broke for the most part, really having problems trying to stabilize that CT economy, it would seem. So once more, they'll be put onto basically just the default pistols, and the spread from them, well, despite, I mean, really regardless of what it's going to be, we haven't seen anything hugely impactful from them on these eco rounds just yet. There's been some good setups, but when it actually comes time to execute and pick up those kills and surprise CLG, they haven't been able to really pick anything up, although there might be a good opportunity to find at least one player here. Kusta being fairly aggressive here by the broken wall, pushes out. See him though finding that 1 kill, and the second player that was hanging around to support Caboose has now fallen way back. There's Nifty though, gets himself a better position and doing some damage with the USP, taking down Kusta. The Bro just dropped in, but completely misses that opportunity to finish off no one on the cross. He's gonna push out again. He won't find his kill, but Mitch still impacting here. And Ethan, come on, you need that one more bullet, and he just gets absolutely denied by Mitch. Although he will go down to Hayes eventually, and Breezy too is kind of gonna just walk into the spray from Sabrosa. But for what buy that was, that's still decent damage, taking down 3 out of 5 of the players. Certainly gonna keep the money low on CLG's end.
Yeah, and that's important. I mean, moving into the rest of this half, the rounds are running out. So if you can keep CLG's money low, I mean, anything can happen. Just one gun round going your way. And they're actually going to force into this with a FAMAS, a UMP, and an MP9. And that's actually a bold strategy. They know they can reset CLG here. You know, they've won 2 rounds in a row, but there's not a whole lot of money. The max money that I see right now is Cutler with 2450. And unfortunately, that's not even enough to drop in this next round if he dies. So moving forward, you got to think CLG, got to come up with something. And anti-ecoing towards that Long B plat, I mean, things can get hairy. And Kusta just caught off at some weird angles with that MAC-10, not able to get a whole lot done. And just giving away some free kills. I think Nifty with that USP caught like 3 different dinks that round. His ADR is going to be glowing after this game, I'm sure. And Breezy actually putting that MP9 to work over at that A-Halls, that danger area, finding one on a Sabrosa. And at this point, I mean, CLG knows he's up there, but they're still kind of waiting for the trade frag to come in, or at least the trade attempt to come in from mid-slope. There's nobody there. Slowly inching up towards mid, and Hayes actually catches Breezy jumping onto the broken wall. Questionable decision-making. Perhaps some over-peeking there from Selfless. Nevertheless, Selfless still in a 2v2 or 2-and-2 setup. Caboose is tucked away at this upper B plat. He's going to run into the bulk of the CLG force as they're moving towards him with actually a lot of speed. He peeks into 2 and he gets both kills. Kusta and Ethan fall. Hayes is able to pick one up on a Nifty, but no one answers, and now it's just Cutler in a 1v3 and Caboose with another huge round. And it looks like Selfless, no one's actually at 25 and 17. On the other side, Kusta is 24 and 18. These guys came to play today. Absolutely.
And for CLG again, as we saw there, on the attempt to try and push in, was pretty much dominated by Selfless. Too slow. And unfortunately, just run into the setup from Selfless. Not able to find any of those entries. And the follow-up, just to be completely honest, was non-existent here. So we're going to go into another, basically an immediate eco from CLG. We've already talked about how Selfless has been having trouble maintaining their economy, but with the rounds that Selfless has been having, the past 2, I would say 2 ecos that they pulled off here, they've done massive damage to CLG, which has constantly kept them low. And now, no one's going to move into punish, but it's the same issue. Sabrosa loses his life on the push. That's going to hand over a free M4 to Sabrosa. Now, no one on the team is armor, so granted, effectiveness that he's going to have, this is really going to depend on the position he can take in the B bomb site, assuming they still push here. But for the rest, they're still working with that. Now they're going to have to capitalize on that man advantage as the rest of Selfless just do a 2-2 split. They are slowly priming to push out towards platform. No drop action to be seen yet, and it looks like for the most part they're going to be avoiding it. So again, it's an all-out push onto the site. Caboose, he's going to be the man that'll be tested, but he only finds one pickup. Mitch, the same story. He actually doesn't even get one. Mitch just gets destroyed. Nifty finding a trade with the op pick there, and also catching Cbble out in the open. Bombs down on the ground. Breezy shutting out Cutler. Things are back under control, and Nifty shuts out the round.
Huge up kills from Nifty. I mean, that's the trouble. If you give up a pick early in the round, when you're on the counter-terrorist side of Cbble, you kind of lose the ability to gain map information. I mean, you can push over at the A side, but if you run into players, you have no one else remaining there, basically. So you keep two, you play passive, and again, I mean, when you're in any kind of a split setup, especially on Cbble, the rotates can be so long that, you know, if you lose any sort of gunfight, basically, the whole site can collapse. And it did just there for Selfless. I mean, they lost B pretty quickly. CLG was able to capitalize on that first kill, move into the B bomb site, and unfortunately for them, they had no utility left to smoke off Nifty, and he just picked up 3 at the end of that round. And gave Selfless the lead here, 13-12, still grinding out rounds. CLG on a force buy. Only Kusta with a Tech 9. The rest of them have rifles, and Nifty's actually going to draw the ire of Cutler. But he gets the better of him and escapes with 75 HP, and he's still re-peaking. This man has all the confidence in the world after that last round. And 5v4, great situation to be on, especially when you're clinging to a lead just by 1 round. And Kus is actually creeping up towards this upper B plat. I'm not sure if he knows that Mitch is here. We'll find out in just a moment. Mitch playing this so carefully. Knows that the utility's got to be light for CLG. Probably chose that one and done spot just for that situation. Calls for a pop flash, picks up 1, finds a second on a Cbble. And now 5v2, Hazed and Ethan. You gotta wonder what they can do here. Finally cap, ooh, and a nice shot from Hazed. Actually takes out Breezy. Ethan's able to take out Mitch from that drop area.
Ethan's got to do huge work now with this flank that he's opened up by pushing out window. And so upsetting that no one just moves right back in and punishes the window push. So, I mean, Hazed he may not even be able to get the bomb back down, to be honest. He's got a player waiting for him right around the corner, though Caboose is going to miss his opening shots. Flashbang hits both Hazed and a teammate there. He's going to push up, but what he missed because of that flash is the fact that Nifty gets himself in that position by the steps. So that will allow Selfless to punish, and they'll get up to their 14th round. Again, very close battle, but Nifty's early kills combined with this huge peak that we see from Mitch, where he nets those 2 frags, that is what allows Selfless to slowly tear apart CLG.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the exact same fashion that I talked about, kind of when you lose a man early on Cbble, it's difficult because you lose map information, you lose the ability to push in different parts of the map and like have it be safe. When you're on the terrorist side, I mean, Selfless took the opening pick and just ran with it. Nifty opened it up, knew there was 3 guys towards the A bomb site, and Mitch is just like, okay, I'm gonna go walk onto the B. I'm gonna walk on the upper B plat. You know, didn't even have a smoke in front of him. Knew that there was no upper B control coming out here from CLG. So when they regrouped back towards B, I mean, this guy could be anywhere. Of course, he's gonna be on plat. Like that's one of the most advantageous spot. Calls for a pop flash, gets 2 clean kills, almost finds a 3rd, finally falls to, I believe it was Ethan over at that drop area, but the damage had already been done. Suddenly that 5v4, it's a 2-on-4, and Selfless played that beautifully.
And again, the pacing at this point, too, from CLG, especially as of the past, I would say, like 2 or 3 rounds, has been very, very slow. Trying to go for these slow build-ups that sort of lead into an explosion on the bomb site, whereas Selfless, while, I mean, maybe not as successful, it was still a very direct type of play that they were going for on most of these rounds. They weren't really hanging back, waiting for picks and whatnot, like CLG is doing. So oftentimes what we see is CLG, because they lose these players so early on, they try to still go for that same type of execute you would do with a 5-man team, and it just gets pummeled because it's so easily read.
Right. Odd man situations for either side on any map. I mean, a lot of it comes down to being able to utilize your players correctly. So if we're going with the whole motif, I guess, of new rosters and inexperienced playing together, I mean, if you're in-game leading right now for CLG, you got to be thinking like, okay, Ethan, go down, drop, see if you can make a play, and he does. Unfortunately, like, once they had already committed that upper B push, if they had just waited, had Ethan go down first, maybe things work out better. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe Mitch is still able to make a play, but certainly hindsight is 20/20 now. CLG forced into this round with Tech 9s and a Galil.
Keep in mind, too, CLG, for the most part, I mean, granted, the Selfless did the same exact thing, but CLG, for the most part, is still just going for B executes 99% of the time. We've only seen A attempts, I believe 3 out of the now 12 rounds that have been played up to this point. So we need to try and see them maybe mess around with that side a little bit more. But on these ecos, they almost entirely stuck with the push over here into the B-bomb site. And again, it looks like they're going to be priming for it once more. Now, they do keep Hayes with that rifle ready to push in through the mid-connector, doing one of two things. A, either making a lot of noise and keeping 1 or 2 early rotators over here, or B, kind of trying to cut off flankers. Players that would be rotating over from the A-bomb site, cut them off.
Yeah, and drop split coming out now, trying to take control of that connector, but no one has had a huge stranglehold on this area the entire map. 3 kills going the way of Self to make it 4. And it falls to no one, picking up 3 on the round. Nice hold from him and the teammates that joined him. But, you know, CLG chose to buy there because they knew that they could break the money as Selfless, and they're moving into the loss bonus now, so they're going to have to force the next round anyway. So buying the last 2 is a calculated and somewhat intelligent choice to make when you're on the terrorist side here, especially when you know like you can surprise people really quickly, you can take down drop. There's opportunities in this map for that to happen, especially when you're, I don't know, playing a team like Selfless that might not have the most coordinated defense right now. But unfortunately, I mean, they've tested drop over and over again, and that connector split hasn't worked. And they're actually posting up at B again and might run something similar. I just wonder whether or not they could just throw Selfless completely off guard, maybe just 3-2 split at A, or try, I would even say, like, they've been playing a 3-2 setup, right? Send the whole team out upper B, see if you can get a bomb plan out of it, and at least, if you don't win the round, set yourself up to at least have money for this last round. Unfortunately, now they have 1 AK-47 and 4 Tech-9s on the board to even have a chance at bringing this back towards OT.
And Selfless now at 15 rounds. They're not going to be able to go for such an all-in strat to guarantee plan. It's got to be winning out from this point forward. 3 in a row to take this to overtime. No one. Here's the problem too: is if they still go for the straightforward B execute, they're in a setup now to punish A. A lot of the drop control that the members of CLG have gotten so freely. B, they can very easily just rotate out too to punish. Look at this. Look at how much pressure they're gonna have to deal with. We do see Kusta grabbing that 1 kill, but immediately Caboose not only burns Kusta alive, but then finds a second frag. There is a response from Ethan. They're all going to corral over here. Not only this, but Ethan wraps out, punishes Caboose. Again, there's that over-peeking problem that we saw back on one of the first gun runs from Selfless. They're all standing in the open. Those are easy headhunting jobs for the members of CLG to be able to pick up, and now this goes to a 1v2. Nifty will look for the clutch. He's got no utility, though, to find a way back outside a drop. Good news is the CLG are playing this very passively as their final 2 are stacked up, looking to try themselves in trade positions, but Nifty gonna wrap around, but he shoots the leg on purpose there. Still gets the kill with his pistol. He knows where Sabrosa is, but he's misjudged it. However, he gets the correction, but when he re-peeks it, Sabrosa is gonna finish off the round for CLG.
Yeah, unfortunately, Nifty's teammates left him in quite possibly the worst situation you could end up in. And at that point, I mean, you have the huge numbers advantage, and it just collapses within seconds. You gotta wonder, like, I hope, Ryu, if you're out there, make your boys watch this demo. Don't do that.
But now Selfless too, just off of this 1 round loss because of how close these fights have been. Look, now they're on an eco. They've gone for a 3-man stack on the B side, but CLG know this. They're leaping right in. Ethan, it takes him a minute, but he's got flash support, so he still gets it. Gusta gets a massive spray transfer, like full 90 degrees to take down Mitch. No survivors at all on the B bomb site. Nifty will be the last one standing and going for a very long flank through the B tunnels. We'll see if he can grab anyone on platform, but you can already see from Cutler's position, he's watching for that exact push. Nifty, more than likely, as soon as he steps outside, he'll be a dead man.
Yeah, and I don't think he's even going to be able to get a single gun down here, but might be able to recover one. I'm not actually sure. I think both those bodies are over there at Sidewalk, so probably just going to lurk this one out, wait for some exit kills if possible. Smart move by him. Luckily, Selfless will be able to, Selfless will be able to buy in this next round, so even though I think pretty much everyone on this team has been playing pretty well, they'll at least have utility in rifles to try and close this out here for 16-14. CLG, nice 2 rounds back-to-back to send the score to 15-14, give themselves a fighting chance, and now All on Selfless. The pressure's on, boys. See if you can get it done.
The pressure indeed does become the issue in these situations here. All of a sudden the CT start to play a bit too passive, which granted, at this point in the game for Selfless, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing because their biggest problem on gun runs has been over peeking, wide peeking out into the open, or just being caught off guard by aggressive pushes. So if they try to hold back, might be good. However, from the looks of things, they're going to be actually a bit more aggressive, possibly a counter boost working its way around these guys. CLG are going for a very fast push. Again, it's 5 players into the B-bomb site. Kusta tries to flash, but the smoke isn't perfect. So Caboose sees it coming from a mile away. Takes down Kusta. The rest are kind of stuck trying to get up to the site, waiting for an appropriate smoke so that they can use to put the bomb on the ground. And here comes another boost as well. Mitch going to be jumping up there. Can't spot Cutler just yet. Can't even spot anyone else, but she should be able to spot this boost. No, he won't actually, and Ethan cuts him down from across the way. Nifty and Caboose find 2 more trades, but again, Caboose a bit too aggressive in pushing down Hayes. 3 still up for Selfless, but here comes a flank from Sabrosa. He drops in. Hayes grabs a kill, so does Sabrosa. Now it falls to Nifty now. In a 1v2 again, he knows where at least one of these players is hanging out, but he walks again out into the open, and that will tie it up, taking us into OT.
They counter boosted the flower boost. I don't know if I've ever seen that. That's fun. It was Ethan getting the best of Mitch there. It was a nice play from Selfless. Like, let's get this, you know, back under control. Hats off to Caboose. Throughout the entire time of this game, we've seen a lot of kind of inexperienced plays or, you know, over-peaking mistakes that I mean, I'm digging on these guys for, but, you know, it happens and everybody does it, right?
Yeah.
But I think Caboose is playing some of the most disciplined CS out of the whole Selfless squad, and his ability, I mean, he's the only guy over there at Long B, and he hears the entire CLG pounding, you know, like a train coming towards him. The smokes are raining in, and he's just like, I'm not going to fight this. I'll see you guys later. And he hangs back behind the smoke, catches 2, and it almost turns around for the team, but CLG gets it done. 15-15, we're heading to OT, Blue.
And indeed, guys, OT should be coming up, I believe, actually right now. It's going to be getting started. So we're going to jump back into the game and take a look at how these two teams brought out an OT. Again, for anybody that is unfamiliar with the rules, by the way, it is going to be MR3 10K start money. So for the CTs, if they do drop the first 2, thank you, Brace. If the CTs do chop the first 2 rounds, then they're probably going to find themselves on an eco, but Ts basically have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, Selfless actually going for a double op setup now. Mitch and Nifty bringing the ops into play, having one over at B, I imagine, and Nifty over at that long A is where we've seen before. Mitch thinking that this is the answer towards this upper B plat aggression, and Hayes is actually out there. Caboose is going to find him in just a minute if he opts to peek this at all, and he is, but Hayes gets better of him. That's such an awkward angle for CTs. Being in that spot and not having the height advantage is actually hugely difficult because all the terrorists can really shoot at is your head. And with the AK, of course, it's a one-shot headshot. But Nifty's aggression is actually going to pay off. He finds Sabrosa, and he fakes the drop down. I don't think they bit for it at all. And now Nifty just trying to find any sort of way he can get back into this game. As Selfless quick to rotate. They know they're pushing towards the A site. And unfortunately, he's not able to hit the shot on Hayes. That would have been huge. Unfortunately, that means the A site is completely clear now. And no one in Mitch forced into that connector might have to just save here.
He's ducking down there too, getting out of the way of that quick push. So Selfless making the more conscious decision to fall back and get out of here. With some good early aggression from Nifty to find the kill, but unfortunately, reinforcements to actually get to the A bombs that were far too slow. And when they did get there, obviously, it was a bit of a shutdown. CLG having no problem making those entries to finish off getting control. So these final 2 will look to keep the op alive on Mitch, along with those rifles sitting on no one. CLG, though, obviously, with money not really being a big problem here in overtime, sending at least one man out to try and hunt things down. That being Ethan. He is a bit behind them, however, so it is looking good for both of the members of Selfless to keep these guns in play, and indeed they shall, making it into the next round, buying up, and they should, for the most part, solidify things going into that 3rd round, even if they do drop this next one here, sending CLG up to 17.
Yeah, I mean, Selfless, though, regardless of how their money situation looks in this 3rd round, whether they win this one, you got to come away with 1. I mean, neither side was that convincing on their terrorist side for either half. Obviously not. We're in OT, and it was an 8-7 half both ways. But I just think, like, in general, actually, here's a fast side haul play that's actually going to cost CLG quite a bit. Unfortunately, Sabrosa is able to trade it out. Breezy had 2. And that's a 3v3 with Cutler spotting no one at the top, but he doesn't have his AWP out. So thankfully, Sabrosa cleans it up. And now, Caboose, trapped in that connector area, is the only one to quickly answer this bomb site. And it's a 2-on-3 situation. boost now. Yeah, I wonder whether or not they're even going to go for this again, because they know that I don't have a whole lot of money.
He definitely can't even pressure that Molotov, so I think they're going to call save. Also trying to check their flank too, just to make sure that they obviously don't get killed from drop position. But since that's clear, they're going to call this off. And CLG just, again, it's just these A executes. And here's the thing, right? As I talked about this at one point during regulation, during that time they only went A like 4 times out of the rounds that were played out. So now all of a sudden there's just, you know, 2 rounds straight where they're just going directly into the A side. They're really not trying to screw around with B either. They're not even trying to throw a fake or whatnot. It's just pressure that's in A. So this is like new territory for Selfless that they're having to adjust to. And they're doing a pretty poor job at it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was that, maybe it was an eco round? No, it was the first gun round when they had SMGs and FAMASs that they went. CLG went towards A, and I think it did pay off, right?
Yeah.
CLG
that was where that problem with wide peeking started showing up for Selfless, because they just started.
That's
they
when
made
I got
those
triggered a
2
little bit.
really big peaks, and it basically threw the round away because they lost 2 guys on the site without any trades.
Yeah, they had a beautiful setup, and they had the rotator coming in. It was one of those situations where they didn't even have early information. They just were playing it safe because they assumed or maybe surmised that CLG was a team that was going to play towards A. And CLG, I mean, capitalizing on it then, capitalizing on it now. Kind of in a similar situation. We have 1 SMG on no one. That's a UMP, and actually Mitch. They throw that pop flash from that rock area. He's able to jump on the broken wall and not get blind himself. It's one of those standard pop flashes for upper B that everybody knows, and Koost actually catches the brunt of it. And he is able to get that kill onto Mitch. Or sorry, Mitch is able to get that kill onto him. CLG looking for some sort of a drop play, try and work that up, see if they can find a pick. Cutler does go down. And 1 player from CLG, actually, the bomb's still way back towards connector. So I'm wondering if they're just trying to figure out where Selfless is at this point, because the call now, once you have to control a drop, you can go A, you can go B, you can split it either way. But it looks like CLG, now that they're all grouped up over this drop area, haven't quite figured out what they want to do. Just want to work Cutler any way they can. They're going to leave him there.
And the rest of the team is starting to follow through as well. I believe there's only really 1 player trying to push his way over on the platform. There's the peek from Cutler. He just finds a free kill on a Mitch. No response at all from the player wrapped around the corner on Selfless' side, so they're allowed it. They are trying to keep them contained, so they're kind of just going to wipe off that first kill, Molotov them to keep them inside. But now there's that pressure from Hayes that's going to work its way out over towards Broken too. So they'll have to deal with that. They can't pay close attention to this anymore. Double flashing over the top, Cbble pushing back as there is a CT flash, but Ethan finding the first, not 1, but 2 kills. A response comes in from Nifty, but he's got to duck out. Won't be able to escape, however. Cbble shuts him down. And for Breezy, he'll be the last one standing. They know where he's coming from, though. Cbble holding close up to the door. Flashbang even looking away from that one, and he just shuts it down. A big round from Cbble, and that will be 3 straight from CLG. And they're not only 1 more away from taking the map.
This kill from Cutler, I mean, okay, so the reason that happened, I think it was Breezy, or no, it might have been no one that's playing that drop area, called that he heard an off scoping and drop, and Mitch, instead of saying, okay, that means I'm in danger, swung out to take the wide peek onto Cutler. And unfortunately, it was just a perfect bait, maybe inadvertently, and Cutler was able to get the kill. It was almost like it worked perfectly. And are we in pregame right now?
Yeah.
We're definitely in pregame right now.
I kind of freaked out for a second. I was like, wait
and I looked
a
back at
second.
the monitor. I'm like, oh my god.
That threw me off too. But this would be very out of buy indeed from the CTs in that one.
I was like, and I'm casting over the game. Yeah, whatever.
Bit of an awkward moment.
I mean, it was just interesting to me. I guess some of the European teams definitely in the past year, I guess, and even LG does it from. Sorry, wow, SK. Look at me. I'm dated. I'm old. Kind of like work that up towards that drop area, and they fish for picks, and they drop. But they just left Cutler down there alone at first. They were just like, well, he'll see if he can get something done. And I think like if he's calling that, he has all the faith in the world that he can make that kill. So as soon as he scopes in, he knows he's either getting peeked from down below or behind the statue, and he's just able to. Mitch just walks into his crosshairs. Yep. It's beautiful. Beautiful play.
So now we are going live, however, with the second half of first overtime. Selfless back on the T side. We saw them having decent impact, of course, but that impact was echoed by CLG when they jumped onto their own T side in the second half of things. So it's even territory, but Selfless have to win 3 straight. And that, again, doesn't even guarantee victory. That just guarantees that they get to repeat and do this all over again. At least they'll start off on the T side that time, but still, not the best territory to be working from here. And also, dropping a single round voids this entire game out. So So they do play the default out, and CLG do have 2 players pushed out aggressively towards A, which means if they do what we kind of expect at this point, which is follow this up with a direct B push, then unless Ethan and Hayes fall back from their positions on A, without trades on the initial push, this could be a very easy round for Selfless.
Could be. I wonder though, I mean, CLG's had a really firm hold on A through most of their side, on their counter-terror side, and CLG's B defense, I think, was most of the problem, right? So the fact that Selfless is regrouping back towards A brings me some concern. Hayes and Ethan haven't really moved from over there. Cutler's dedicated to this long B plat position with the AWP by himself, so he's posted up over at the fountain area, and Hayes knows now that there's some A presence, calling for a rotator. Ethan's coming back. He's able to find one on a breezy, and that's huge because he can just bleed this entire Selfless team, make them clear him out. As he gets another one in a beautiful pop flash from Cbble, he just goes through the smoke down to the mid slope. And now Cbble is also a thorn in their side, but it doesn't even really matter because no one's the last one alive. He finds one Akusta, and that is it. CLG take it over Selfless after a commanding lead from Selfless towards the end of that first half. CLG is able to bring it back on back-to-back force buys, basically.
Yeah.
And they close it out.
19-15 is going to be the scoreline. 4-0 in overtime. CLG finally grabbed some consistency there. And of course, unfortunately for Selfless, just kind of falling apart. We're seeing some good stuff, but on the CT side, the over-peaking that we saw consistently there continue to be a problem even in overtime. And then, of course, only one opportunity on the T side, and, well, they flubbed it. So,
yeah,
pretty straightforward.
It pains me because Selfless, I think, clearly was winning that match and played the better game for the most part. I think they made less mistakes overall than CLG did. You know, I think they both made a plethora of mistakes, Blue.
Well, yeah.
But,
I have a whole list on my iPad.
But that said, I know I've seen you taking notes.
Trying to step up the game.
I wish I had an iPad. Apple?
You have a notebook.
Oh.
This.
I'm not using that.
Is this yours?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, so that's just someone's notebook then.
Where are we going with this?
So anyway, that's going to close the first map. Dust 2 will be coming up in a little bit.
CLG's first win.
Yeah, that's 2. But to dissect that, we're going to bring things over to Tom. Tom, what are your thoughts on CLG's first win? A bit messy, if I say so, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit messy. I want to talk about Lex. He's kind of a dinosaur with that pen and paper over there. What's going on, man? Who uses pen and paper nowadays? I mean, I'm writing on a napkin, but anyway. So yeah, CLG getting their first win. Both these teams now with 1 win, and just like the guys were saying up there, CLG pretty much stole one. Selfless was in control the entire time, but just too many mistakes, and we all know how much of a momentum game this game really is, and just seemed like once Selfless got to the actual overtime period, just all the wind was taken out of their sail. Yeah, the first half of the map felt like kind of was a puggy, a lot of defaults and stuff, and Selfless was definitely in control of that game. It just, they kept peeking on rounds where they, just hide and just play the angles, and they probably would have won the round, but instead they kind of gave up a couple rounds to CLG, and then that's when CLG started to gain confidence and momentum, and they eventually took away the win in overtime. There was some good things for Selfless, though. Mainly, Caboose was really just playing that platform area. CLG started off 3-0, and then Selfless came back and started to kind of walk away with this one. And you can see here, he just got to the point quicker and caught CLG off by surprise. And we didn't see that much coming out from CLG, but they were still able to walk away with the win. Yeah, Caboose, right there, he was able to pull it off because the round beforehand, he just smoked it out and kind of like just hid in that area. And so he knew that CLG kind of played passive B and kind of giving up the platform area. And so he was able to do that two rounds in a row, and it paid off on those rounds because Selfless came out and owned that spot, the first half of the map. Yeah, another strong individual performance coming out from Caboose. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Breezy kind of struggling for these guys. Most negative on the team. Definitely looking for him to step it up in this next map. Yeah, he has to really pick it up. I haven't seen anything from him. It seems like he's a little quiet. He's not there. Like, if you want to be on a pro team at a pro level, I'm not expecting people to top kill every single game. But, you're
going to have to make plays. You're going to have to be an impact player if you want to start winning games.
One of the big turning points as well was when it was going into overtime, there was a double flower boost. And I didn't necessarily think it was even needed. Yeah, the theory's good. It's a cool play, boosting up. It's fun. It's useful. But when there's so many smokes around, we were talking like, is it really necessary for them to boost up, especially when they're on the site? There's smokes all around. They could have just potentially played the map. And here it is right here. You actually have it. And you can see they're just, there's no need. There's a guy to the right, and they just get counter boosted.
Yeah, once the T's start checking out spots and everything, and the smoke's out, they only have one way to look, and that's where the counter terrorists are hiding at. And once you boost up on a place, you're a target from many angles. And so it was a very, very risky play by Selfless to peak that late in the round like that.
Yeah, and again, going back and looking at, individually, I thought that Sub Rosa, a little bit slow when it came to it, but he really stepped it up towards the end. But Hayes was absolutely going off. Top fragger in the map. You can see 34 and 19, by far, shining individually.
You have to get kills. You have to get kills to win the game. You could call, all the perfect, counters and everything, but if you can't kill and finish out the round, then, you won't win rounds. And Hayes was just there in the right place, right time, getting kills, making sure that, keeping his team alive throughout that whole match.
Well, overall, we knew that this was going to be a tough one, and the guys were saying that this is going to be a grinder game, and that's exactly what it was because, again, these two teams just so evenly matched. Looking forward to the next map, which is going to be Dust 2. But, guys, want to give a shout-out to thescoreesports.com. It's the best place for news and stats. Take out your phone, go on your iOS or Android device, go to the Google Play App Store, and check it out. And, again, don't go anywhere. We're going to have that match, CLG, taking on Selfless. It's going to be on Dust 2. Don't go anywhere.